Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Happy Saturday to all of you. This commentary is by the U.S. Sun. Troubled past. Quentin Simon's mom, Leilani Simon, tried to overdose with kids nearby, and toddler's brother had bruises, X claims. This was uploaded October 14th. A dad has expressed his deep concern about his son's safety, questioning everything after his little boy's mom was named as sole suspect in the presumed death of one of her other children. Police in Chatham County, Georgia, said on Thursday that Leilani Simon is the primary suspect in one-year-old Quentin Simon's mysterious disappearance, and the evidence suggests Quentin is dead. Inside this article, you will see a photo of the older child with the said father, Cody Wharton, and his son Zane. Also, there's a picture of his sister and a picture of baby Quentin. Simon's ex-boyfriend, Cody Wharton, who co-parents their son, Zane, said he noticed bruises on his face after he claimed she tried to overdose while she was depressed last spring. He told the U.S. Sun in an exclusive interview. Wharton, who dated Simon on and off since 2011 before they split, said he hasn't slept since police publicly named her as the primary suspect in Quentin's October 5th disappearance. Zane needs to be with me. I want to make sure he's safe, Wharton said. I'm not sleeping. I'm at a point where he needs to be with me. Even now, I'm questioning everything. Is he hurt? What is he doing? I don't want to get a call saying your son is hurt and going to the hospital. Wharton claimed when Simon was allegedly depressed and tried to overdose, he noticed bruises on Zane when he picked him up, but thought the marks were simply caused by him being rambunctious. Now, where have we heard that word before? I don't know what happened. I don't know how long the bruises were there, he said. And when she was talking about overdosing, that scared me because my son was there. But what if she had overdosed? I couldn't get there for 2 hours. She's always been unpredictable, he added, talking about Simon. But I wasn't worried about saying safety until all this started going on. She was a good mother. I don't know what happened. During the interview, Wharton struggled to find words to describe how he was feeling as he replayed every perceived oddity in a stream of consciousness that now he realizes might have been red flags. For example, one past summer, he claimed Simon was overwhelmed, and when he picked up his son, all he had were winter clothes. Right now, I want custody. I need to hold my son. I need to see him with my own eyes and make sure he's safe, Wharton said. But he admits getting full custody is not a simple task, as there are a lot of obstacles in his way. Wharton claims authorities told him to fly from New York to Georgia, take a DNA test to prove he's the father, hire a lawyer to get custody through the courts, legitimize the father-son relationship. It's unclear who is currently caring for Zane and Simon's other child, while police continue their investigation into Quentin's disappearance. Nothing scares me like this, Wharton said. I knew my son was going to be taken care of, but I'm not even sure her parents can take care of him right now. After their off and on relationship, Wharton and Simon split, co-parented their son Zane. Simon has since been in a relationship with Danny Youngkin and has had 2 other children with him and another man. Interesting. It says that. Has had 2 children with him and another man. That makes it seem like there's more children. I don't know. That kind of puzzled me when I read that earlier. Been in a relationship with Danny Youngkin and has had 2 other children with him. See, this is where I'm confused. I thought she only had 3 children. Because if Quentin belongs to somebody else, saying her older child is his, that's only 2 children, then the baby girl allegedly is Danny's, then who is the other child he's speaking of? This is strange to me. Wharton said he seemed fine when they spoke last month. She was saying she was excited about moving to a new house and seemed to have had her head on her shoulders. And now this happened, Wharton said. He claims he didn't know Simon's grandmother filed legal papers to remove Simon and Youngkin from her Savannah home. Her grandmother alleged they destroyed the property, and at this point, no one is living in peace, the legal action filed on September 8th. Police and FBI didn't answer specific questions during Thursday's brief press conference, which ended about 5 minutes. That led to a flurry of questions from the public on social media about why Leilani wasn't in handcuffs, as they shared fears she may flee. Police said they didn't believe she's a flight risk, and they'll likely have her under surveillance, former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer told the U.S. Sun. Simon hasn't been arrested or charged as of Friday morning, and Coffindaffer said likely police are gathering evidence to ensure a conviction. They're not done with the investigation yet, the field agent said. They have one opportunity to charge someone and make those charges stick to get a conviction. Right now, it's all circumstantial. They're likely going through phone records, searching for the body, waiting for forensic test results before making an arrest. They want to have all the evidence first. The 1-year-old hasn't been seen since October 5th, which is a short amount of time to collect and process evidence collected from the house and inside the family pool, according to Coffindaffer. You will also see pictures of Billy Joe and the baby and a photo of the biological mother. That's the set information from U.S. Sun if you need verification for that information. So, when was the last time this man saw his child? What was the state of the child? He also mentions in this article that when he went to pick up his child, the child only had winter clothes. So that means she was not providing adequate clothing for the child. And why is that? We know that it costs a lot to take care of children, especially when you have more than one. So what was that all about? The bruising. Why didn't he say anything to her? Why didn't he ask, hey, where did this come from? Where does he actually live? They said New York, fly from New York to here, authorities, so he could do a DNA test, get a lawyer, file for custody, but that costs money. To fly from one state to the other, he'd have to have a place to stay while filing paperwork, unless he came in on an early morning flight, went to the office of the Children's Services, or however, get a lawyer here to file for custody. All of that's going to be work. Flying in, having a place to stay, gathering everything properly before flying back out. Of course, a lot of things are done now through emails, but nonetheless, it's still work, it's still money. You still would have to fly down to do the DNA test, then wait. Then if he is the father, he has to go from there. And as I said, why didn't he say anything to her about the bruises? Is he fit to have his own child? Let's ask that question. He has to have finances, a place to stay. Is it stable? Is it his own place? Does he have a house, own a house? Does he lease? How long has he lived there? Are there other participants in the house? Does he have a felony background, violent offenses? We have to also ask, who is he? Is he stable mentally, physically, to take care of a child? Does he work, hold a job, have income? See, all those things matter when you're talking about filing for custody of a child. And why didn't she tell him that her mother had custody of the child? I find that strange. So imagine now you're trying to get custody of a child, or you want custody, but you didn't even know that her own mother, Billy Joe, had legal rights to the children. And let's ask the main question. How many children has she actually had out of her womb? Because I don't know if this is a misprint by the U.S. Sun, but he says 2 other children. So as I stated, he has 1 son by her, which is Zane. Quentin is by somebody else. The baby girl is by Danny. That is your 3 children. In this article, it states she had 2 children by Danny. So where is the other child? Are you all listening to me? This article states 2 other children by Danny. Then where is the other child? Or is this a misprint? This story is filled with nonsense. And I tell you this because it's obvious. Every time you go into the belly of the beast pertaining to missing children, abused children, dead children, you always find the craziest circumstances pertaining to the bio mother, the bio father, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the parents, this person, that person. It's always a circle of venom. It's always arguing, name calling, Facebook posts, social media posts, TikTok videos, arrests, drug offenses, drug usage. It's always something. It's never ending, ever. It's always drama, drama, drama. Allegations of abuse, visible signs of abuse, neglect, children wandering around, bruises, broken arms, legs, trips to the hospital, DHS visits, allegedly an open case, closed case. calls to DHS, calls to the police. Don't you all see that this is what goes on in America with these people and their children? They don't want their children. The children are having to defend themselves. They're itty bitty spiders. They can't. It doesn't stop. Every time you see a story about a wounded child, dead child, this is what comes out. I didn't know anything. I didn't see anything. Or I did see something, but I didn't say anything. Oh yeah, I did see bruises, but I didn't inquire. Didn't call the police. I didn't call DHS. Then what is the point in testifying after the fact? Because now we're talking about a dead kid. And he hasn't been seen. So 9 times out of 10, he is dead. He's not coming back. He's got a foul-ass mama, foul-ass grandmother. I don't trust the boyfriend that was living in the house because he was a witness to all of this. And how does he feel about that? Knowing his child was in there, had a guy in there who never stopped anything, didn't do anything. He never left the baby mama. So that means he was down for the ride of the abuse and neglect of his own children or other children. He possibly could have abused his child, the infant, his own infant. Who knows? Because we weren't there. But what we do know, if we're to believe the babysitter, the children ran around unattended through the neighborhood and the property without a care in the world from the parents and the grandparents. And the grandparents were away working, so therefore, they're null and void. So these children didn't have anybody. And the fact that Billy Joe had custody is a joke. She wasn't even around to care for the kids. So you have to ask that question. When did she gain custody? What were the circumstances? Was the state actually involved? Some say, I don't know, because I don't have verification. But that's why I don't argue about this type of stuff, because I wasn't there and you weren't there either. So you don't know what was going on in these people's houses. And if now you have this ex-boyfriend coming out saying she's unpredictable, drug overdosing, he feared for his child's safety, then he says, oh, I knew the child would be taken care of. It's contradictory. Because that means when you last saw her or heard from her, she sounded okay because she was moving into a house. But she wasn't okay. And that's the point. She wasn't okay. You didn't know this chick. Nobody knows this chick. And also, why did you break up with her? What happened? There's also commentary you dated her from a young age. She's only 22. So if you dated her for 11 years or 11 years ago, on and off, that means she was just a child, 11 years old. Why would an 11-year-old girl be dating a boy? See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Billy Joe wasn't watching her kids. She wasn't taking care of her kids. She didn't care about her kids. Because what is an 11-year-old doing dating a boy? And she's only 22 years old. And he states 11 years ago, on and off, they dated. So that means she was a kid, possibly messing around, having sexual relations. So we really can't be shocked that she's pregnant. With 3 kids. Had 3 kids back to back at the age of 22. That's all she knows is producing children, reproducing, using drugs. And the fact that she used drugs while the child and children were there. He should have been concerned for his kid. He should have tried to get custody of his child when he realized she overdosed. That was the perfect time to go to the courts and seek custody of the child. Secure DNA, verify the child's yours, and go forward. But no, you left your child there. And what he doesn't seem to understand is that Zane could be the one possibly in that damn landfill. How about that? We could be talking about your son, sir. We could be talking about that infant girl or what other children she's had or had. And does she have other children? Because I'd like to know that. Because this article throws me off, making it seem like there's more children. What's the truth? How many babies has she had? And are there other children out there that aren't in her custody? Perhaps with other people? So you have to ask all those questions because we don't have the answers. But we will see if this guy is genuine and he wants to seek custody of his child. But it will be expensive traveling back and forth from state to state, trying to get custody. Will the state reach out to him to get him to come in to take a DNA test? Will they pay for it, or will he have to spend all this money on his own to get here? Because in the end, that's really his responsibility to prove he's the father. But if they want him to prove he's the father so he could get custody, maybe they'll pay for him to fly down here to Georgia and take a DNA test. That's the sad information. But the signs were always there. Drug use, drug overdose, children not having adequate clothing, out of season. That should have been a red flag to him. Her using drugs is the main one. He's thinking everything's okay. And there's a stipulation in this video where he says he couldn't get to the kid for 2 hours. So that means he had to been living somewhat close by. Where was that place at? And when did he move to New York? And how long has he been in New York? And is he stable enough to get the child? Mentally, physically, financially. Does he really want the child? That's the question. And how many boyfriends have there been in the past couple of years? Because she's had children back to back. And as you see, we're now talking about at least 3 different men. This guy here, father of Zane, father of the baby, which is Danny, and another father for baby Q. All back to back. And you have to remember her children are ages 3 to infancy. So there's 3 different men in at least a 4-year span. And knocked up by each one. And not in a relationship, but with only one. That's not good. And that's not good parenting either. To go from guy to guy, making babies, drop a baby, less than a year later you're pregnant again with a new guy. No sustainable relationship, place to live, viable employment, no good child rearing skills, not taking care of the children. This is bad. And this is why baby Q is not here. Because the signs were there all along and nobody gave a damn. Nobody. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Mind the children. Thank you for joining me. Happy Saturday to all of you. God bless you. Look forward to my next live. This will be video number 4 coming up. Thank you so much for joining me. You all be safe out there. Please don't sit by and allow stories like this to continue. You can be anonymous with your information. Call the police if you see something dire with a child. Any type of abuse or neglect, just make that phone call. You'll sleep better at night knowing you did the right thing. Thank you.